Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets buried in corporate filings. Today we're diving into Caesars Entertainment's latest report, and let's just say they've been busy tidying up the rulebook. Now, this isn't a financial report in the traditional sense. It's more like an update on their internal company rules, the bylaws. Think of it like a company's personal constitution, and Caesars just gave theirs a significant overhaul. Effectively, on July 23rd of 2025, the board of directors approved these new bylaws, and they went into effect right away. What does this really mean for you and me as investors, or just people who are curious about how these big companies operate? Well, the biggest changes are around how and when shareholders can propose new ideas or nominate directors for the board, especially if they're not going through the company's official channels. So if you want to suggest a new business idea or nominate a new person for the board outside of the company's own proxy statement, you now have a much stricter deadline. It has to be submitted between 45 to 75 days before the anniversary of when the company last sent out its proxy materials. There's also a special rule: if the company decides to hold their shareholder meeting way earlier or later than usual, they'll announce it, and you'll have just 10 days from that announcement to get your proposals in. This basically makes it harder for unexpected proposals to pop up at the last minute. It gives the company more control over the meeting agenda. They've also really beefed up the information requirements for anyone wanting to make a proposal or nomination. It's not just about you anymore. They want details about the people who actually benefit from your proposal too. That means information not only from the person directly filing, but also from the beneficial owners and even their close associates. This is pretty detailed, but they're asking for a rundown of any financial tools or deals that might benefit these proposing individuals. Think about things like option swaps or any sort of financial agreement that could give them an edge or profit related to the company's stock. It's like they want to know if you're playing with loaded dice, so to speak. They're also making sure that any proposal or nomination has to meet all the federal rules for asking other people to vote your way. This is to ensure fairness and transparency in how shareholder votes are sought. This part is straightforward. They want to see exactly what you're proposing to discuss and vote on beforehand. No vague ideas allowed. They're also digging into any connections or deals the proposer might have with others that could influence their proposal. It's all about revealing potential conflicts of interest or hidden agendas. For director nominations, each person nominated must fill out a detailed questionnaire about their background and whether they're qualified to be a director. This ensures the board knows who they're potentially bringing on. Most importantly, the nominee has to agree to be named in the company's official voting materials. This prevents someone from being nominated without their knowledge or consent. The company can now ask for even more information to check if a nominee is truly independent, meaning they don't have any business ties that could sway their decisions. This is crucial for good corporate governance. Basically, the board gets the final say on whether you followed all the rules. If they decide you didn't, your business, proposal, or director nomination might not even be discussed at the meeting. This gives them a lot of power to filter what comes up. And a big one here: if you miss the deadline for proposing a director, you can no longer switch out or add new nominees later. The list of nominees is pretty much locked in after the initial window closes. This makes the initial submission and the nominees very important. Beyond shareholder proposals, these updated bylaws also touch on something called indemnification. It's a way the company protects its directors and officers from certain legal costs if they're sued because of actions they took while doing their job. They clarified that these protections aren't the only ones available, which just adds another layer of security for them. They also made it clear that if a director or officer has to testify in a legal case related to their duties, the company will cover their reasonable expenses for that. This is a pretty standard but solid addition. The company can now buy insurance, not just for current leaders, but also for those who used to be in those roles. This offers broader protection for anyone who acted on the company's behalf in the past. And a minor but interesting point: they've removed the requirement to have the company's stock list physically available at every shareholder meeting. This reflects changes in how things are managed and acknowledges that in the digital age, having a physical list isn't always necessary. They packaged all these changes into what they call amended and restated bylaws, and the official document is filed as Exhibit 3.1. So what's the big picture here? Caesars is making it much more structured and, frankly, harder for activist shareholders or even just regular shareholders to introduce new ideas or propose directors without following a very precise and early process. They're essentially tightening the reins on shareholder engagement by requiring more upfront information and imposing stricter timelines. This could lead to more stability and predictability in board nominations and strategic discussions. But it might also be seen by some as making it more difficult to challenge the current leadership or direction. From a governance perspective, it's a move towards greater control for the board, while the long-term impact on shareholder activism remains to be seen. Alright, that's our breakdown of Caesar's latest bylaw changes. What's your take on these updates? Do they make the company more efficient, or do they shut down valuable shareholder input? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more of these corporate decoder sessions. And don't forget to join our Discord community, linked in the description for more discussions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.